While wasting way too much time like a degenerate testing fragrances on a diet of Taco Bell and Red Bull, I have discovered the greatest fragrances. Or at least the ones that work best in real life. Hey friends, Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Everything I talk to you about is gonna be linked in the description below. These are scents, some hyped, some not as much, that work amazingly in the real world. So if you're looking for that stuff that people are gonna take notice of, it's these. Beginning with the very obvious one, myself, Absolu. Really, there's only one big drawback with this fragrance. It costs a lot, which I guess is par for the course at this point. Everything seems to be costing a lot, but this is one of the more expensive ones that Yves Saint Laurent has put out there. It may not have elixir in the name, but it does in the price. If we're talking retail prices, a full-size bottle of this is over $200 now, 210 technically. And I would imagine that as time goes, they will find a little way to pump that up a little bit. Those are rookie numbers.
Pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
By the end of 2026, don't be surprised if you check the retail price on this one and it's $220 or $225. Yay. But now if we're just talking about stuff that works though, this stuff does. You can't take that away from it. It smells fairly similar to the original Myself, which by the way, that also works really well, and so does the Le Parfum. Basically, if it says Myself, yeah, it does well. At least if we're talking versatility and compliments. That's basically what they're made for. So this one's gonna hit you off the top with bergamot. It's gonna tie it in with the original Myself, the Eau de Parfum, but then it also has ginger in there as well. And that ginger is gonna give it a nice zing, a nice push, a nice pop. It helps set it apart a little bit compared to the original. You also have cardamom in here, you have orange blossom and patchouli in the base. And that patchouli is gonna give it a little more richness, a little bit more depth compared to the OG. Also, performance is nice, it projects well, it gets you noticed, it lasts a long time, and it's really a year-round fragrance. I think you can pull this off whenever you want. Now I feel like the next one, we have to get a silver bottle in here. You know, 2 silvers to start everything off. Marwa by Arabiyat Prestige. Now this right here, it smells similar to Imagination by Louis Vuitton, which is also expensive. To be fair though, when you hear that name, Louis Vuitton, you know right away, oh cool, I get to take out a second mortgage to buy that. Nice. But you're paying for the brand. You're paying for the history of the brand.
What a noob.
And to be fair, when we're talking prices here, this is not the cheapest cologne fragrance out there. This is actually fairly expensive as far as colognes go. It's like, you know, 45, 50 bucks most places. So if you can find it for less than that, you're actually getting a pretty good deal. It does though come with a good atomizer, which probably costs an extra 5 cents over a bad one. So I guess we'll take wins where we can get them. Ooh, strong though, it smells good. So as I said, it smells similar to Imagination. You know, it's gonna be more spring, summer, early fall type fragrance, more of a daytime scent. Has a little bit of a soapy aspect to it as well. Citrus, ginger, cinnamon, some of the notes that you're gonna get in here right off the top, tea as well. And a nice ambroxan sort of woodiness in the base with like a little hint of incense, like a little touch. For this type of fragrance, really long lasting. So I mean, it's not the type of freshie that's gonna just dissipate within 15 seconds. That's not gonna happen. That was weird. So you may think, okay, longevity solid, that's good. What about projection? Well, that's good as well. Maybe not an absolute monster, but again, for a freshie, really solid. And just like Louis Vuitton's Imagination, just about everybody that smells it is gonna really like it. And that is the reason that it was pretty hyped through most of 2025. All right, broskies, the next one is a doozy. It is one of my absolute favorite fragrances right now, and I have gotten nuts reactions from this stuff, especially as I've worn it more often, which I know, big surprise, big surprise. The more you wear something, the more reactions you get because you are wearing it more, so you have more opportunities to get reactions. You know how it goes. It is Bottled Absolu by Hugo Boss. This stuff just does something to me. It like completes my DNA, you know? It's like Jurassic Park, the original one, you know, they're talking about like splicing DNA and everything. And when I smell this, that's what it feels like. It's like just a dopamine release, you know? I smell this and I'm like, weird again. The note breakdown is not the craziest thing here. You know, it's not hyper unique. Cedar, patchouli, myrrh, incense, leather, but it just works so well. It has like a faint tobacco kind of vibe to it to me, like a sweetened tobacco leaf, even though that's not an official note. The patchouli in here is rich. It's vaguely chocolatey. You have that really nice resinous sweetness. You have warmth in here, touch of smoke. Super classy, like perfect event fragrance. If you're going out somewhere, you're dressed up, you want attention, this stuff is fantastic for that. But it smells good enough and is not that polarizing that you can't wear it casually as well. It works just about anywhere you have the confidence to pull it off. And it's more a fall, winter time evening fragrance to me. Love it. This next one is a classic that honestly you probably need to get sooner than later because of reasons. The R word. Yes, the hard R. Reformulation. That's what that means.
Are you sure about that?
I hate that word. I hate that word. But before we get to that, how about codes? They haven't changed, boys. They haven't changed. So the JOMASHOP ones they've updated, just be aware of that. Fragrance Lord, you can save mad money using the code for them. So do not pay the full price when you shop at the FL. Also Fragflex, Beauty House, Perfume Box, all of these stores, use those codes, save yourself some money. What's the fragrance, guys? Well, it's the One Eau de Parfum, which I guess now we have to call the original, the One Eau de Parfum, because they have come out with the new version. The new one came out right at the end of 2025, so I guess it's technically the One EDP 2025 is what that one's gonna be known as from now on. And it is different. If you do a side-by-side, it does not smell like this one just made stronger. That was my hope, but side-by-side they are actually different fragrances. In the same style, you know, the same wheelhouse, but not the same thing. And to me, the One EDP has always been just a masterpiece. Like it slaps, it's a slapster piece. Is that a thing? I guess it is now. Warm, spicy, sexy perfection. It does have a little bit of that tobacco in there, which I kind of mentioned with the last one. I am actually a big fan of tobacco fragrances in general, assuming that they're well done. And this to me was always just one of the best date night fragrances ever. Really, really good. It had that perfect magnetic air to it. Multiple times with this fragrance, I have had people do a double take where they smell it, but it's just kind of like a waft, you know, it's like a little whisper, and it kind of gets their attention and they come in for another whiff and then they're like, what are you wearing? And I know that it sounds cliche, it sounds stupid, like that doesn't happen, that's moronic. But if you go out enough to different events or, you know, out to dinner with friends and their, you know, couples and families and stuff like that, or you work in a more social setting where you're constantly interacting with people, that does happen. Or I guess it does happen more frequently, I should say. And that's always stuck with me with this fragrance, like that happening multiple times. And every time that I smell it, I react kind of the same way, where I'm wearing it, I'm just like, what? Huh? Oh, it's me. Nice. So the One EDP, that stuff, it has always absolutely crushed, but unfortunately it is now basically dead. It's gonna take a long time before the stock runs out, I would assume. But yeah, if you're buying this from like Macy's or something, this version is not what you're gonna get now. It's gonna be the new version. So if you're looking for that, you're probably gonna be shopping at discounters and things like that. You know, JOMASHOP and Fragflex and Fragrance Net, all the discounters. They should have this, I would imagine, for a while. And then once the stock runs out, which who knows how long that takes, it could take a month, it could take 6 months, it could take a year, it could take 6 years. But when that runs out, then I would imagine the price on this is gonna go That's how it goes. This next one, you used to be able to basically find never. I don't know why, but it basically just went out of stock everywhere for like 6+ months, I feel like. As of this moment, when I'm filming this video, you can find it, and it's like 30 bucks. Between 30 and 40, actually, depending on where you look. It is Mirage Absolu by French Avenue. So this one is Latent Exclusive. I have always thought, at least to my own taste, that this is the best Latent Exclusive alternative. The quality for the price, fantastic, unless you're paying too much. Like if you went to eBay or something and paid $80 for it or 90 or something insane like that, then at that point, maybe not as good. But below $40, that stuff is insane. Now, just be aware, it's not exactly the same as Latent Exclusive. To me, in a side-by-side, Latent Exclusive is a little bit more animalic. So it has a little bit more of that going on, a little bit darker overall, maybe a little bolder, but this is gonna be kind of in between. So it's like not the same as Latent or Latent Exclusive, it's like right in between the two. It gives you more of that darkness that Latent Exclusive has, but it still leans a little bit more toward that nice sweetness, that warmth, that kind of just mass appeal that the original Layton has. I think this stuff is awesome. Another one that has always worked amazingly for me, Le Beau Le Parfum. Le Beau Le Parfum is just lights out. The performance is there, the projection, the longevity has always worked extremely well for me. It has that tropical sweetness, that coconut that people really love from the Le Beau line, but then a little more body to it. The only issue you could potentially run into with this one, at least for me, is summertime, like middle of summer. If it's really hot, if it's humid, I'd probably go for something else. Like summertime evenings, good to go, and summertime days where it's maybe not crazy hot, it'll work then. But just for me personally, like middle of summer, really hot, sticky, humid outside, I don't really want to rock with this one because it ends up coming across like syrupy, kind of overly heavy, comes across a little more synthetic to me. But yeah, any other situation, good to go. The only reason I bring that up is because this one being in the Le Beau line, a lot of people are gonna be like, that is a summertime fragrance. Summertime, daytime, all the time. That's when you wear it. The way that I wear this one is winter, fall, spring, summer evenings. That's kind of what I go for. If we're talking middle of summer, if I wanted to wear a Le Beau fragrance, I would go for all the other ones over this one. So I'd go with the original, Paradise Garden, or Flower Edition before this because they have more freshness to them. And it's just, I want that freshness to balance out the sweetness a bit. And it's not that it's devoid of freshness, it's just the other ones have more. So they're more balanced in those warm weather, high heat situations compared to this. But everything else, this stuff, one of the most consistent compliment pulling fragrances that has come out in the past 5-10 years. The next scent I'm gonna share with you is under the radar, but it's one that has grown on me a bunch over the years, and it's another one that is getting a little bit more difficult to find. It's Mr. Burberry's Element. So I've spoken on the story of Mr. Burberry a number of times. It was a line that, well, it failed. There's no way to really parse it other than that. It did not do well. They brought in Francis Kurkdjian, who is now over Dior and all their fragrances that they're releasing, but they brought him in, they released the original, and it was supposed to compete with Sauvage and Bleu de Chanel. Spoiler alert, it did not. So they came out with 3 flankers, and then Francis Kurkdjian just stopped working on Mr. Burberry at all. This one has a completely different perfumer. It was done by Jerome Di Marino. So this was the last of the Mr. Burberrys. And it smells a little bit similar to a discontinued Y fragrance, which is Y Live. It's a weird fragrance, it's a roundabout way to smell like a discontinued scent by buying a discontinued scent that you can actually still find. Yeah. That being said, it is getting more difficult to find, and most of the time it's gonna be like $50 or so for a smaller size bottle, but at least you can still find it. And in terms of notes, it's got kind of an odd note breakdown. There's almond in here, there's mineral notes, there's juniper, and then ambergris and oak moss. That's pretty much it. And so it ends up coming across like a sweet mineral take on Y Live with a hint of juniper and almond, especially off the top. In terms of versatility and complement factor, this stuff actually crushes, but it is not as good as Y Live. So if you could find Y Live, I would get that one instead, which that basically smells like Y if it were mixed with Invictus. It's just really hard to find. You know what else works? 9 p.m. Rebel by Afnan. Yes, 9 p.m. Rebel. Thankfully, pretty easy to find and pretty affordable. Really fruity and sweet off the top, a bunch of pineapple and citrus as soon as you spray it on. As it dries down, it gets more of a woody aspect that comes out, also a touch of vanilla, so a little sweetness in there also from the opening into the dry down. Performance, banging. Lasts a long time, projects loudly, so it'll easily get you noticed. It does though, do the same thing for me that Le Beau Le Parfum does. Not in that it smells the same necessarily, but in that you smell it and you go, oh, it's kind of fresh and sweet. I'll wear it in summer. Maybe not. At least not in high heat, humid situations. So everything I said about this one carries over to this one. This is surprisingly useful year-round, daytime or evening. Just if it's middle of summer, super hot, it comes across strong, fruity, and sweet, and it maybe is gonna be cloying. So in that situation, either dial back the sprays or just wear something different. The next one is just Unchained. Great performance, nice balance of fresh and sweet, and people love it. Valentino Uomo, Born in Roma, Intense. Note breakdown, vanilla, lavender, vetiver, so that's it. As I mentioned though, the balance of freshness and sweetness here is expertly done. It has a touch of this like classic masculine vibe to it because of that lavender being so prominent in the scent. And that's a note that's been used prominently in men's perfumery for decades and decades and decades. So when you smell it, you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, it kind of clicks in your brain right away. But it has this nice modern vanilla, which is extremely popular right now especially, but the way that it's used is not as like sticky sweet. So it helps keep the fragrance balanced and grounded and makes it where you can wear it again about year round other than right in the middle of summer. Fantastic performance. And this one smells even better in the air than up close. Like it smells really good up close, but this is one of those ones that when you smell it in the air, it is just magic the way it comes off. And last but not least, Stronger With You, absolutely. They did announce a new Stronger With You, which is called Powerfully. Not out yet, at least as of when I'm filming this. That one looks pretty interesting. I'm very excited. I hope that it can, hang with this one. But for me, if I'm picking just one from the Stronger With You lineup, it's gonna be Absolutely. Obviously, very good performance here. That's gonna be one of the reasons that it does get so much attention because people can smell it very easily, especially if you go heavy. And it's got that Stronger With You vibe nailed down. It has that sort of glazed chestnut sweetness, that cozy, like gourmand adjacent scent profile, but then amplified and given a nice dose of golden rum. It helps it smell slightly more grown up, but still has a nice playful edge to it. So after much testing, these right here are some of the absolute best, safest go-to fragrances that you can have if you're looking for things that people are going to react really well to. And you may think out of all these, Boss Bottled Absolu, oh, that kind of sticks out. I would agree with you if I did not have the number of reactions in 2025 wearing this that I did. Let me know in the comments the fragrances that work best for you. What do you reach for? What do you go for? Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. I'm gonna see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.